Do you call yourself a radical?
Yeah, you know, if that's what radical means, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change.
ISIS, we only have a few months left. I'm not going to solve the problem fast enough. A Swedish professor saying, you know, we can eat dead people, but that's not fast enough. So I think your next campaign slogan has to be this: we got to start eating babies.
Thank you. So I think this, with the urgency that it does present, is it okay to still have children and kids in a house, but also just this basic moral question, like what do we do? And even if you don't have kids, there are still children here in the world, and we have a moral obligation to them. We need a universal sense of urgency, and people are trying to introduce watered down proposals that are frankly going to kill us. I'm going to talk about cow flatulence, but
which is an issue, I just want to say.
It
sounds ridiculous, but it literally is an issue.
But it actually is an issue when it comes to contributing to methane, right. But that doesn't mean our solution.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. God have mercy on your soul.
Thanks to their continued hard work and their smart money moves, they were able to then buy a house in nearby Yorktown Heights shortly after AOC turned 5 years old, according to the New York Times.
When I was a kid, about half of New York City high schoolers would never graduate.
And grants, but she was able to manage it and enrolled at Boston University. According to the BU website, she majored in international relations and economics, after switching from a biochemistry major, according to the New Yorker, and interned in the late Senator Ted Kennedy's office, specifically in the immigration department.
Back in 2016, we put out a call for nominations, trying to capture the diversity of background, of experience, of the American electorate, the people.
My brother told me that he had sent my nomination in the summer, but I was literally working out of a restaurant then, and I was there's no way.
This election, it wasn't in districts like mine or Alexandria's. However, she's a wonderful member of Congress. I think all of our colleagues will attest. But those are districts that are solidly Democratic. This glass of water would win with a D next to its name in those districts.
Do you have a specific on the tax rate?
You know, you look at our tax rates back in the 60s, and when you have a progressive tax rate system, your tax rate, let's say from $0 to $75,000 may have.
You use the term the occupation of Palestine. What did you mean by that?
I think what I meant is the settlements that are increasing in some of these areas and places where Palestinians are experiencing difficulty in access to their housing and homes.
Do you think you can expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd also I am not the expert on geopolitics on this issue,
The criticisms of you is that your math is fuzzy. The Washington Post recently awarded you 4 Pinocchios.
Oh my goodness.
For misstating some statistics.
This is the only criminal investigative agency, the only enforcement agency in the United States that has a bed quota. So ICE is required to fill 34,000 beds with detainees every single night.
Well, unemployment is low because everyone has 2 jobs. Unemployment is low because people are working 60, 70, 80 hours a week and can barely feed their kids.
In a Koch brothers funded study, if any study is going to try to be a little bit slanted, it would be one funded by the Koch brothers. It shows that Medicare for all is actually much cheaper than the current system that we pay right now.
When they got these seats, when they were campaigning most, when we had more of an American middle class. And so I think that politically, this upper middle class is probably more moderate But that upper middle class doesn't exist anymore in America.
The reason that the Supreme Court upheld the Affordable Care Act is because they ruled that each of these monthly payments that everyday Americans make is a tax. If people want to really blow up one figure here or one word there, I would argue that they're missing the forest for the trees. I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than about being morally right.
There's abuse in these facilities. There's abuse. This was them on their best behavior, and they put them in a room with no running water.
There's fresh water that's provided on a regular basis in a water cooler. There's also water that is provided in this is a combination of toilet, sink, and the sink provides fresh water. The wall is marked as agua potable, which is potable water. There's nothing wrong with this water. We're not forcing aliens to drink out of the toilet.
All of a sudden, I hear boom, 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 boom on my door. And then I hear these huge, violent bangs like this. Like I'm here, and the bathroom door starts going like this. Like the bathroom door's behind me, or rather in front of me, and I'm like this, and the door hinges right here. And I just hear, "Where is she? Where is she?" And this was the moment where I thought everything was over. I thought I was going to die.
Wednesday was an extremely traumatizing event. And it is not an exaggeration to say that many, many members of the House were nearly assassinated.
IOC wasn't even in the Capitol at the time.
But she appears to have her political colors mixed up.
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be hopping on here, Senator Sanders' account, and we're here in Kansas City to rally for Brent Welder. We're going to flip this seat red in November.